This is Get Sellers Calling You, and I'm Beatty Carmichael. Learn more at our website at getsellerscallingyou.com. Okay, and we're back, and want to welcome everyone to the Get Sellers Calling You Realtor podcast. And I'm just really excited to do this call today because it's just really an amazing story. I'll tell you a little bit about the story in just a moment, but let me introduce Marla Chappa from Washington State. And she is not the type person you think would be a superstar, but her story is a superstar story. So, Marla, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Yeah. So, also, just as a reminder, this is an internet call, so so pardon any type of internet interruptions. So, Marla, I want to give kind of the nutshell of where you are right now, and then I want to go back and have you kind of walk us through who you are and how you got there. But the reason I'm so excited, here's kind of the backstory. I was doing a call for a client of ours who is coaching and training Marla, because Marla, you're like a 3 or 3.5 years active selling real estate agent right now, aren't you?
Yes.
O- uh, Okay, and so Marla, in just trying to get some business going and trying to meet some people, she stumbled onto something that she's in a community of 700 homes called Skagit Highlands, and in her first 12 months of stumbling onto this, she went from nothing to like 20 to 22% market share of all the homes sold in that community, like 16 homes. And in the last 12 months, she's done like almost half of all the homes in that farm, 33 thereabout sales in the last 12 months. And I was telling Marla, what's so exciting about her story is she, and I've told her now enough times that she's probably catching on. She didn't even know how great of a story it is. So, Marla, I am just really excited to have you on board because on this call, because there are a lot of people that are new in the business, or they've been in the real estate business for a while, but they still kind of haven't found a niche, and they will probably really recognize where you are and kind of see themselves in you, and 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 you're not a superstar in what you think you're doing, but you're hitting superstar status. So I just think that's so great. So welcome again to the call.
Thank you. I didn't know I was a superstar. Honestly, I didn't. I just trying to not lose the house.
Yeah. So tell
you
us
know,
your story. Tell us what happened. Tell us leading into that, and just kind of what we were talking about before the call, before the interview started.
so I was serving in the Navy 10 years, and the Navy, my whole entire career had been downsizing. So I focused on getting my bachelor's degree in marketing, and I was going to go and pursue an officer OCS career. And my ex-husband now, he is active duty still, and it was just very challenging how we were going to be separated, and the life, the military life, we signed up for it, but when you're married and trying to have a family, everything changes. And I had a son, and then everything changed, and I just had to put a hold on my career and focus on learning to be a mom. And 2 more kids later, I just loved it, and I had just decided that I was going to just try to postpone my officer career and wait till my kids were a little older, then try to submit my package. While we were doing that, we've discovered my children, all 3 of them have a condition where there's special needs, and my youngest just got diagnosed with autism. So we go to Seattle Children's Hospital more times, and the military they were undermanned. So it was really hard for them to let me go. And my ex-husband was deployed, but I had to take my kids to these appointments. We were trying to get them diagnosed and figure out what's going on. And, 5 doctors for each child, 15 visits to Seattle Children's. They had to get me somebody to help me coordinate all these, calling the insurance company to get to get an order number or whatever, a referral, and then to each doctor. Oh, the referral expired, and and keeping up with all of it was a full-time
Wow.
job. So I made the decision to get out of the Navy at 10. My ex-husband had a little bit more time in. And I said, what can I do with my marketing degree? I have an education. I need to do something with it. And they said, my aunt was a real estate agent. She had her own firm in Laredo, Texas. And I said, I think that I can do that. I could possibly work from home and be, take care of my kids and have more time to focus on their doctor's appointments. And I could work part-time from home, right?
Of course, of
And
course.
that's
That's what real
that's not,
estate is, right? Part-time from home.
it is not. It is all 70 hours, flexible hours, but you got to put in all of the hours. And I, learning how to be a realtor, learning, doing open houses, finding the money to pay for everything, getting out of the Navy. I was so used to requesting permission to do anything. And so the discipline and everything that the Navy gave me just prepared me for my real estate career. And I remember I called to show a listing, and the man, he heard my little voice. Oh, this isn't for the, you better have some thick skin. And I was like, well, I did 10 years in the Navy, so my skin's pretty thick. And thank God, because it really did help my career. So I was having a hard time meeting people because I worked with a bunch of men in the military, and the base is about 30 minutes away. And I lived in this neighborhood, and our houses are like 5 feet from each other, and nobody really knew each other. And I noticed there was a lot of military people here, and I was like, I bet somebody in the community would want a van pool to base, or maybe one of the wives will do some childcare. I need help here. My ex, at the time, my husband was deployed. And
So now let me
so I
pause
just
you real
reached
quick.
out.
Let me pause you real quick. Give me a timeline. About how long ago was this period that you're talking about right now?
15, and I had a baby, my last baby, my third son, and got my license in July 2015. And so I was just trying to think of something, and I tried joining other network groups. They have luncheons, they have this, and everybody had a realtor, and they were like, nope, we already got a realtor, and you're just basically waiting for them to retire. And so I said, well, I'll start my own group. I'll start my own network group. And we had a Facebook page in our community, which was super smart. I think every community should really look in that direction. And I just threw it out there. I said, hey, this is February 2016. I had been planning it since January. I said, I'm going to put some money, and you have to spend money to make money. So I went and took a risk and swiped my card at Costco and bought tons of wine and food. And then I found a starving guitarist. And there's nothing to do in Mount Vernon, by the way. There's tulips, and there's lots of farm and, farmers markets, but there's not anything, there's no nightlife. Everything goes to bed at 8 or 9 p.m. So
Wow.
I opened my house, and I had live music and free wine and food. And I just said, if anybody wants to, because they had been asking me, you want to have a Sensi party? You want to have an Advocare party? And I was like, how many parties? I'm just going to have one party, and all of y'all can come and bring your stuff, and let's show and tell. And so they did. They set up on coffee tables. I had an artist post all her beautiful pictures of the tulips on my fireplace. I had the Canyon Water people come and take over my kitchen and do a whole mini demonstration. I had solar energy in my office. I had 12 businesses. Most of them are still here with me today at that event. And it just
Let me, I hate to interrupt, but let me make sure I'm catching you on this. So you're trying to get involved with other networking groups, and none of them will let you in because they already have a realtor. So you say, well, I'm going to start my own. And so within your neighborhood of about 700 homes, you decide just to have a party at your house and invite the people to come over who are in that neighborhood who have some sort of a product or service or some sort of a business to sell, and just have kind of a networking group at your house. Is that pretty much
I
it?
invited the whole 700 houses to come over, whether they had a business or not. And I
Okay.
said, one thing I do know, not everybody's going to come. When you have a party, if you only invite 20 people, you'll probably get one first, 2 people, or, so I just invited, I said, you all are walking by my house. I have one of the newer houses. So they were kind of curious about what the newer, because there's all age homes here. And I had a newer one at the time. said, come check out what the new quadrant home built. And, I said, come, and some people were nosy and they came in and they shopped, they drank, they met their neighbors. By the end of the night, like everybody knew, like, oh, so and so lives there, so and so does this, and they're still networking. And every now and then I'll remind people, I'll say, stop and think. How did you meet that person? Where were you? And they would reflect, oh, yeah, it was this guy at social. I said, that's the power of networking. Who is that person to you now? I've met my best friends at that one night. Like, they're my best friends in the whole world. And
Now, how many people
that
came that night?
it was 12 businesses signed up, and I must have had about 20 people in the house,
Okay.
coming and going, shopping. And then they closed shop about 9 p.m. And then all of them made friends and they went off to the bar and just became like doing business, natural, so organic and so natural. It was really, that's why I don't call it farming, because had no idea what I was doing. I said, I need to meet people. I don't know my neighbors. This is my first home I ever bought. So
now tell me this. So at this point in time, before you started that social, how many homes had you sold? Do you had you
no,
sold?
I sold one. I did sell one.
Okay, you sold one home by this time. Then you decided you wanted to meet your neighbors, maybe have an avenue to do your own networking group. So you invite them over to your house. 20 to 25 people come over. You met some of your best friends. And did you get any business out of that one meeting?
The next week, I had my first listing.
Wow, that's amazing. And then tell me what happened from there. Keep the story going. This is great.
So my first listing was one of the businesses at that night. She was a neighbor friend of mine. We had met before, because she did photography, and so she ended up coming to my event that night. And she's like, "Oh, I need to sell my house. So how fast can you get it on the market?" And I was like, "I don't even." So I start figuring out what it takes to list a home. I do have marketing experience, but key boxes and signs and open houses and figuring out how to get everything. So that was something I was taking on, and had to. So I got with a productivity coach, and that was awesome that Keller Williams offers that. I really, really appreciate the guidance that I got, because I was gonna, in real estate, it's everybody's so busy. Nobody really has time to help. And with productivity, it really works. So I was able to compensate my experience with working with an experienced agent to help me. So that was definitely something that was a great investment. And sold her house in less than a week. Then after I got it under contract, sold in 4 days, or under contract in 4 days. And then we closed. Sold 5,000 over list price, under contract in 5 days, and promoted it. And so as soon as you get your first listing, you have to make sure. I'm a marketing girl, so
Yep.
I make sure I market every incredible event that goes on throughout the transaction process.
So now, how did you
Inspection.
market? Tell me what you did in your marketing.
I went as soon as the sign came up. It was my first real estate sign with my face on it, or with my name on it. So I took a selfie outside, because then I had to go tell my sphere. Not only am I a real estate agent, I'm a real estate agent that's listing homes, that's selling homes, that's doing open houses. Because that was my biggest hurdle at the time, was my experience. So I started just posting it. It was scary. Everybody just knew me as Navy Marla, Navy Chappa. And now I needed them to see me as the realtor, your realtor. That was the biggest, and it was scary because everybody's scared of failing. But I think that one thing the Navy's taught me is, who cares? Because I was a cotillion girl. I went to presentation ball, I was in cheerleading, I was in track. All my friends were getting married and buying houses, and I just did not want to do that. And I left to the Navy. I wanted to travel, live like a vagabond with military. So it was, I guess it would just, if I had the guts to do that, I said, why wouldn't I have the guts to, transition into a career that I don't know. I just knew that I was going to be able to do it. Or honestly, I didn't have a choice.
So when you got this house under contract in 4 days for $5,000 over list price, uh, did you did you put out postcards to Skagit Highlands? Did you promote it on the Facebook page? How did you get that message out?
Facebook page. I said, "Hey neighbors, here's your market update." Boom. It was cheap. I didn't have any money. I wasn't making a lot of money in the Navy. So I just posted it on the Facebook page, and then I posted it on my personal page and shared everything. And then they weren't doing Facebook didn't have boosting options at the time. So you just had a public page that anybody can look at. They had just started doing, I can experience some boosting. I'm trying to remember. So that's how I did it. And then other neighbors just said, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's go to Marla," and it just, and then that whole Skagit social group, people knew me, they liked me. I was buying products for them, and I made a deal with them. I said, every time I close a house, I'm going to pick a Skagit social business, and I'm going to go buy, keep it. I got to keep them in business so they can go buy a new home. So it's just like the synergy of the whole. So I went and bought Scentsy, and I went and bought makeup, and I went and bought, soaps and stuff, and I just kept it going. And so they know that every time when I win, they win. So
So you sell a house in Skagit, you come back and buy products from them. I love it. I love it. So now,
I'm doing baskets, like welcome home baskets,
mhm.
and most of them are from the Skagit social businesses. I have over 350 businesses now that participate at any given time in my closed group.
Wow, that's cool. So now tell me about what happened with the next Skagit Social? Is it now every week or once a month, or what's the pattern?
I waited a month and recovered, and then I said, I'm gonna have another one. I got to keep it. You have to keep it going, because I was like, I hadn't had a listing, or I was starting to work and get somewhere, but it was, I was getting kind of. So I said, I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have an event. So every time I had an event, I at least got 1 to 2 clients out of it, or referrals or something. So we had a couple more in my house, and um, the children, we didn't know about the autism, and my ex and I were having problems, and it just we're best friends now. But the military life is hard, but it's even harder when you have special need children.
Right, I can imagine.
So we didn't survive it, but we're still good friends. We co-parent, and he's awesome. He stays here at the house when he comes to town.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
but at the time, it was just getting very He was traveling, commuting 3 hours each way every day to work. So he was in Mount Vernon going to Bremerton, a 2.5 hour drive each way. So that was taking a toll on him and our marriage. And then I was so all this is going on, just had a baby, got out of the Navy, got my real estate license, started a business. And then I got accepted into the MBA program, to like 3 different ones. And I decided to start my master's degree, mostly because I was scared that the Navy was going to pay me to go to school and I'd be crazy. I didn't think I was going to get accepted. I got accepted. So I said, well, I'm going to go get my master's degree. So I started the MBA program, and I nearly lost my mind. Just
So,
trying to do
so
it.
you're doing all this in between all the Skagit socials that are going on.
Yeah, I was going full time to school.
Wow,
Accelerated full time.
that is a lot. So, so now let me say, so you have all the things going on in your personal life, the challenges, the ex, the children, the MBA, and then to top it off, you have all your real estate business going on. So you're one busy mother.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
getting busy, and
Eh,
people were starting to hire.
Well, that is, and so, so then you started on a pattern. So the first Gadget Social, about 12 businesses, maybe 20 or 25 people show up. A month later, you did the second Skagit Social, and you promoted that out through Facebook, I'm assuming?
Right. It was only in my neighborhood at the time. It was called the Skagit Highlands Social Night.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it was just a social night in the community. Our community has an HOA, so they do like flicks and the sticks, and they do neighborhood garage sales, and they try to, and those things for a community. They actually had a working HOA, and it wasn't expensive. It was a regular $43 a month, and we have a beautiful park, trees, mature trees. Everybody actually has their lawn kept, matching fences. So those things help add value to a community. On top of it, they did stuff like Easter bunny and Easter egg hunts. And so a little bit, it's like a combination of everything. So I said, well, I don't want to have to go through the HOA to get permission. I want to have control and I want to be able to do it. So I opened up my house and I said, we'll call it the Skagit Highlands Social Night. And then it got bigger and better. The couple of times it was like I had to really work and get people, hey, why don't you come to my, you should come bring your products and show up, or, personally invite people to come to the house. Hey, it's free. All the other vending opportunities they do, they have to pay 20, $50. I said, this is free food, free, you might sell something. It didn't even cost you anything, you might have
What
a
a
good
great
time. So
marketer. What a great marketer. You got it down.
And so I started charging because I was getting expensive. I took it out of my house and we went down to the restaurant and I opened it up to Skagit County. So now it's called Skagit Social. And
Okay.
anyone in Skagit County, and I actually have people outside the county, when they have an event in Skagit, they get involved in our group to promote it. And we're taking it a different way. I'm actually getting ready to start. It's going to be a business, a own business, where before it was my investment to promote my real estate business. I'm taking it in a different direction. And now I wanted to start making money so I don't have to pay to advertise my business anymore. So
I
I have
love it.
some ideas to fix up my sleeves. But basically I have a very expensive education that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use it for my business.
So I want to go there
So
in just a moment, but let me go back. And so you started on this Skagit Highlands social night, and about once a month for that first year. Is that correct?
mhm.
And then you would just buy wine, invite people, go get the starving guitar player to have some music. And so,
Well,
go ahead.
I change it up. I change it up. I one time what I did is I have a lady who does date night paint and date whatever, and so she's a good friend. I said, I'll buy 3 tickets. I'll raffle them because I want people to stay tuned to my group page. They stay tuned. Oh yeah, Marla's always giving away something, and the tickets are $30 a ticket. It's under $100 I'm investing to get people to come. They bring a friend, or they get other people to sign up. So we've done paint nights. We've done succulent plant classes. I've done the guitarist. I've had the radio station come out. So it's been costing me a lot of money. The only rule I have is I'm the only real estate agent that gets to advertise on my page. But I can have 5 Scentsy people, 5 of everybody. You can have as many. I don't exclude anybody except other realtors, because I paid with my own blood, sweat, tears, and real estate money to develop this.
I love
So,
it.
I'm open about it. And I said, well, they all have their own thing. This is my thing. I made it up out of nothing. I've nurtured it. I've paid for it. And I've gotten other people involved. Now we have a committee. I have a videographer. We're going to go into an advertising route. And it's been a great experience.
That is super. So now, net out for me the first year of doing this. How many sales did it generate for you?
Okay, so so I think I said 33 from June to July,
Yeah, that
June
was that was
2008.
the, so I think that was the
Yeah.
last 12 months, but your first 12 months, I think, is that
Oh,
about
so
16
my
sales?
it, 16, yes.
16 sales in your first 12 months, simply inviting people over to your house, offering food and wine, and having a Skagit Highlands social night. That's just
Mhm.
amazing. And and then every time you would make a sale, you would come back to some of the businesses there and buy something from them. And so you're supporting them as they're supporting you. You know,
Mhm.
so now I have to ask about the cost. Okay, um, per sale that you made, how much money are you spending in the Skagit Highlands Social Night? What do you think your cost of getting that listing or that referral would actually works out to be in this?
It was like $200, 300
200
with the
bucks?
guitar. Yeah. And then You just go to Costco and go get a bunch of different wines and cheeses. And I made chicken salad sandwiches and I printed the recipe, and they all got a recipe. The biggest thing is it was free, and they left feeling like they got more than what they paid for because it was free. They left knowing people, making connections, maybe selling products, eating, drinking, free. And it cost me $200. That's way better than any kind of magazine or all these expensive things. I did shopping carts. I put my face on shopping cart. I'll never do that again. Like $10,000, and I didn't get one sale from putting my face on a shopping cart. That's it. Nothing.
Wow.
So I said, I'm going to quit the shopping carts and do more interaction with people, like open houses. And I do an open house. I invite all my neighbors. Hey, come talk to me. I have food. I cater my open houses. So you got to get them to come. You never know. They may make that connection. And then when they are in the market to sell or buy, they're going to say, hey, I'm the first person they're going to think of. Marla goes above and beyond.
Right.
It's not just the social nights. I'm also a Homes for Hero affiliate, but I became a Homes for Hero affiliate. I was already starting to sell and have business. The Homes for Hero program was just something that it was just like the perfect thing for my business.
It sounds like a great fit. Now, what's your average sales price where you guys are?
I'm going to say $350.
Okay. You're listening to the Get Sellers Calling You podcast. To increase sales from past clients and sphere of influence or from a geographic farm, learn about Agent Dominator. We guarantee your sales in writing or give your money back. To learn more, visit our website at getsellerscallingyou.com and select Agent Dominator from the menu. And now, back to the podcast. So 16 sales your first year, $350 each. So that's a nice first year of active real estate selling, and none of that's from your warm market. That's what's so amazing. You just did it out of the social network. And then in the last 12 months, so this was like July to June, last 12 months, you did how many transactions in that area?
Well, so I just closed a couple after July 1st. I closed like 3 or 4. So 33 if you ended at July 1st, and 38 or 37 to date today. And I'm closing another one next week.
And all of that's out of the same Skagit Highlands area?
A couple were not. There was actually maybe 2 or 3 that were out of the neighborhood.
Okay.
So,
but everything else is in the neighborhood. And so, and I think your friend, my client, Ed, was saying that your area has about a 10% turnover rate. So if 700 homes at 10%, that's 70 homes, you're doing almost 50% of the entire market. And what's that, about 3 years, maybe 3.5, simply by doing these socials and just getting that little social group going.
Well, I think the social group helps, but also I'm a Navy veteran, and this community has a lot of Navy veterans, and they're my Navy family, and they know that. I think a lot of it's a combination of things, but those events is an opportunity outside of open houses, to have, people come, and if you make them fun, then they'll come, So they give me the opportunity to make that connection, and people want to work with someone they trust and they know. So, they all know me, I don't get hired. There's been a couple of my Skagit social businesses that hired other people, and and the way I look at it is, because, your first year, you're like, why didn't they hire me, or my friend, or my son? I took it real hard. And I've seen other agents do it too, just naturally. Everybody knows a real estate agent. And the way I look at it now, it's like, it probably was best for my business. I probably saved myself whatever reason why they didn't hire me. There's always a reason. Maybe it's not me, maybe it's something with them, or, so I try to look at the brighter side of the situation, but it really has this guy. It's the combination of everything. It's not just one thing. The one thing I do say that I don't do that I probably need to start doing, I don't call anybody at all. Like, I don't pick up the phone and I don't dial. I don't, and if you hear my voice, I don't think that's not really going to be a huge, I already know, but personable, I am a personable person and I want to be sincere and I don't want to be a used car person. And, um, and they hire me, they want to work with me. If they don't, well, then that's okay. I've learned to, that's fine. So, but I probably should get somebody to call. I'm probably missing out on a whole lot of other business, but I'm pretty busy and I'm happy and I'm, making more money than I did when I was in the military and I wasn't expecting that. And so it's been a really good experience and I'm having fun. I honestly, like, I told myself each time I have an event, it's fun. It's, as long as I get the message out, I introduce myself, what my business is about, who I have a team now, I'm a managing broker. So I have other brokers on my team now because I need help. So, but it's really just, like I said, I want it to be organic and natural and fun and it has been. So that's been, I think, a huge part of it.
Well, this is just such a refreshing interview. And as you keep hitting the word fun, the thing that hits me is I have to work hard to be fun, and I'm usually not all that fun. I think someone like you probably it may be more natural, but I'm thinking, and I'm actually saying this out loud for those who are listening that might be thinking, well, I'm not a fun person either. So how do I do? It might be like if I were to try to replicate what you've done, I'd have to go hire somebody, and I think I could and say, hey, I want to put on this little gathering for my neighborhood, but I just need someone to come and just make it fun. Help me with this, and I'll pay you $50 if you just help me make this night fun, whatever that means. And I could
They,
just see that,
they,
leveraging that.
yeah, people think I'm an event coordinator, and they've actually tried hiring me some nonprofits, and I was like, no, I'm not an event. I'm a real estate agent. I'll sell you a house, and I will talk at your event for free, but about my business. But well, I bartended before when I was in college before, so I don't know if that helps. But I like to have a good time and business. I was in the Navy for 10 years, and it was not fun for a lot of the time. I tried to make it fun. I worked for the Air Boss and Mini Boss on board an aircraft carrier. It was such a wild ride. It was awesome. And you're in uniform and everybody's so serious and morale is low and you're deployed. And as soon as I got out of the Navy, I was very aware that a real estate agent, it's not a job. This is your business. And I was very aware that I'm in control. As where I was in the Navy, big government was downsizing. We couldn't get promoted easily, so I had no control. It was like 300 people taking the test and they only promoted 2 people Navy wide.
Wow.
That's no control over your career. And then I finally went from one extreme to the other where it's all in my control. I have a couple of colleagues that I go to. Ed is one of them. I really like Ed. He's a rough around the edges kind of person. So am I. But one of the girls, she's like, oh, somebody said, oh, it's slow. The market slows down in November, December. And I've caught myself saying it to her. And she's like, the market doesn't slow down. You slow down. So, and she's right. We have control over our business, especially in our area. We have military that are moving out here. They can't find any rentals and they have to buy, so that's probably why we have such a high turnover in this area. But I'm definitely having fun with it.
I know you are, and I did a little calculation. So just in your Skagit Highlands, it looks like you're doing between 11 and 12 million a year in volume right now. So that sounds like a lot of fun too. Um, do me a favor, if you can net out um, uh, the big rocks, okay? And what I mean by this is when you're doing your Skagit social night now, and it's expanded, what are the main ingredients, okay, that you feel are really the key? You made a perfect statement earlier. It's not one thing, okay? And that's when you started talking about fun and fun. Well, so it's got to be fun. It's promoting it, okay? If you would kind of list out what you have found, if you were to do it over again, if you moved to another city and you had to start this process over again, what are the main things that you do so that someone listening to this who wants to start something in their area, they'll know kind of a little a roadmap or a game plan to go down. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yes. So
Okay.
I thought about it because I'm not from Washington and my family's all in South Texas. And um, I've thought about, being closer to family, for my children. But honestly, one thing I do know is I would keep my business here, whatever I have to do to keep it, because I'm not going to throw away all that I've worked and built, and take a loss and start over. And like starting over, you're just throwing more and more money into a hole and never getting to see any fruit of your labor. But um, I would do everything that I did, minus the personal drama, of adjusting to
And, and
civilian life.
and tell me, just kind of, if you would, just like number one, I would do this. Then number two, and number three. Go through a short list for me, if you would.
Okay, well, number one, I would location. Where am I going to live? And happen to like to live in a community. And what better person to sell homes in this community than someone that knows exactly why somebody would move here, right? So that's just me. I like to live. I like neighbors. I love talking to. I feel safer with a community of people that I know. So I would definitely figure out where I'm going to be and look at the real estate market out there. Make sure it's sustainable. Then two, I would start trying to figure out a way to meet my neighbors or meet friends or get involved somewhere where there's a community. Even if I don't live in a community, go find a community. If you're into church, if you're into working out, if you're into CrossFit, get involved. And I felt guilty. I was like, I have to go work out. I've been a military girl. I need to stay in shape. I needed to, and I was feeling guilty. It's like, but you know what? It's all, natural. You're going to meet people. You're going to know somebody. So it doesn't have to be a community literally of homes like it is here. Cause I don't do mailers. I don't knock on doors. I just found a community and I became a part of it. And it was something that I liked and wanted to do. So that's what I would do. I'd go find my people.
You actually built that community essentially with your social, didn't you?
I no, I did not, but it's really nice because I think people think that I did, but I didn't. It was, I just kind of connected the dots. I connected the people to each other.
So then, in terms of then, so let's say you move back to Texas, you find the place you want to live, you start to meet some people. Now you want to start uh, a, a social night in your community. Let's just call it Ranch Highland Community, okay? So if you want to start a social night, the Ranch Highland Social Night, what's your steps? How do you go about doing it again?
Well, it depends. If there's a Facebook page, then you just go and, hey, who wants to come out? I'm new to the area. I would like to meet my neighbors. This is actually a really good, it's not about business. When you introduce it, it's more about safety and knowing who you live and who's around. And I think people like, especially in this area where the percentage rate is 10%, when they are here for the 2 or 3 years that they're living here, they want to feel like this is home, and I kind of, you need to go meet this guy. He knows all about the VA benefits. You need to go meet, he owns a winery. Like I just connected all the neighbors to each other. Oh yeah. And I make sure that that's going above and beyond to get them connected and make them feel welcomed is a huge thing. So find a community, talk about it. Honestly, I need to talk to you about doing a mailer because I do want to do one because that's the listings that I'm not getting. It's of the people that don't live in the area that aren't on the Facebook page.
Yep, I get it. Uh-huh.
I need to crunch that number down, but I would maybe send an invite, a real nice invitation. It's all about, if you ever hear, I'm a marketing girl. And when I say marketing to you, you think business, you think statistics, numbers, um, that kind of stuff. When I think of marketing, I think of myself as a creative artist. Like, how am I going to catch their attention? I've got to say something. I got to appeal to pop culture, make it funny, make it something, and make it pretty. Like when people are at a restaurant, they want presentation. So I'm going to paint the picture and, put the bug in their ear, and I need to get them to come. It needs to look good. It needs to be fun, and it's got to work for that particular area and demographic.
That's really
So
brilliant. And I
marketing
know,
does,
go ahead.
having that marketing skill definitely helps.
Well, I know before we started the call, you mentioned, or maybe it was on the call, I forget the timing, um, but you mentioned about just being real and being a real person and not trying to be a, salesperson or something like that. And that's kind of what you're talking about here. It's just being you, making it fun.
Yeah, it's really all it is, because, um, you know, but you're asking me like steps. Like I told you, I didn't have a map, and I didn't say Skagit Highlands, I'm going to live there. I bought my house here. I was still in the Navy, clothes with my uniform on, or the baby. We both had our uniforms on. I picked this neighborhood because I could get stationed to either base, so it's a good central point. So I assume that's why other military people are living here as well. Um, and I just wanted to make friends. And I said, well, it's really, have you ever had a party and no one came? Or you saw if somebody have a party on TV and no one came? And so you're going to do it. You need to do it. Go, who cares? If you fail forward. Who cares if nobody comes? But you probably have a better chance of getting people to come if you actually try to get them to come. So you have to put yourself out there a little bit.
I love it. I want to share one other, you were talking earlier, and I want to make a little connecting the dots. You were talking about when you would promote a sale, and every stage of the sale, like under contract, just sold, $5,000 over price. And, uh, and one of our other clients was doing the same thing in a 1,500 home farm, so twice the size of yours. And he hit about 50% market share in about 3 years by being very upfront and in really working every sale he had. He would say, coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, just sold. And he was the face out there, and he lived in the community. You kind of wrapped around within your social outings, and he just wrapped around uh, within the Facebook community page, and then he would also go out as much as he could. He would door knock. So his out in the public was door knocking, and your out in the public is the social nights.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Do you have anything else that you would like to share that you have found to be successful, or anything that you think that people could benefit from?
I guess somebody told, I forgot who, but sometimes you have to walk away from business. So like my first year, I didn't walk away from anything. It took everything I could get, and got a little beat up, learning growing pains and learning real estate and practicing it. And so now, not that I can afford to walk away from business, but real estate it can get stressful. It's one of the, buying and selling houses, you're doing it every day. It's one of the most stressful things you could be doing. So I guess what I'm saying is, what I've gotten really good at doing is, I'm not going to sacrifice my sanity for one transaction. So what I think the best thing that I've done now is, yeah, I've been honest, and I'm not trying to sell them anything if I think that they need to wait, or I evaluate all risks. But the best thing that I do now is I prepare my clients, and I don't sugarcoat it. And if they're prepared and you approach everything with that expectation, then you won't be disappointing anybody. They're trusting you. They believe you. I told Ed the other day, I was like, I know it sounds like it, but sometimes I feel like I'm talking my clients, or possible clients, out of listing, or selling their home. It felt like it at the time. They were selling their home to get out of debt, but then they had to go buy another home, and they were looking for the same thing, and we're going to pay $100,000 more than what they were paying now. And I was just like, it doesn't add up. So, I don't just say, yeah, let's get it on the market. I tell them, I don't think that's a good, you have to find out what their goals are. It's about their goals. So
You
that's
know,
kind of the
I'm remembered of Zig Ziglar's comment. He's many years back, but he would always say, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll always get what you want. And in making
Mhm.
sure they get what they want, it's doing what you're doing. It's having the integrity and the professionalism to say, I don't think selling your house is going to get there. Let's don't do it. And I just really commend you for that. I think that's really great.
That's actually the biggest thing with my Homes for Hero program. We give so much back to the community, and I had to restructure my whole life and business to be able to afford to bring that program to this area. Not a lot of realtors, they know about it, they won't do it. And it's not that they won't, maybe they can't. It's all
Mm,
about different situations, life happens. And I've told my team, because it's about integrity, because some clients come to us because they just think that they want to work with me, right? Which is awesome. They don't even know about the program. I've already surprised 2 or 3 clients with checks mailed to their new home. And I told the agents, I said, look, I said, it's integrity. If they qualify, you have to honor it. That's the deal here. I said, and a couple of them I've lost agents because they're like, oh, I only made $1,800 on this sales. Well, you're not capped, so you have to consider your cap. And I told them this. I said, you focus on doing the right thing and honoring the program, and don't focus about that one check or that. I was like, you need to focus on, it has to really mean something to you. You can't just be, I said, everything will fall into place. You're going to get more transactions, more experience. Don't look at the downside. I was like, and more transactions, more experience. That's selling points. I didn't even know this, but one of the lenders told me that I closed out last year, like the number 7 listing transactions in the county. So I thought that was awesome.
wow. Number
And
7.
yeah, and most of them were hero clients. And I tell my agents, my team, I tell them, you got to focus on our purpose, not on. Don't make any of our clients feel like a number, and never say, oh, well, we're honoring this program for you, we don't have to do it. That's not how. So it's a lot of integrity, and those are the things I really, really wanted to bring my business
Well,
and
I
keep.
really appreciate that. And that really speaks highly of you. And as I look at those people who reach the top, whatever the top is, the top of where they want to be and stay there, you will always find there's a level of character and integrity that helps them get there and stay it and keep it. So very good. Well, thank you so much, Marla. This has just been a terrific interview. And I've learned a lot, and I'm hoping the folks who've been on the call with us, they'll get a lot out of it and something that they can go apply because, boy, I just think I know it's a lot of hard work, but in concept, it's simple.
It's just fun. Go have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So in wrapping up, if you guys, if you like this podcast, please subscribe to it. You'll get it all the time. Please be sure to like us on iTunes and on YouTube. And if you want to learn more about us, or maybe even how to grow your business, mailers and things that we do, just check out our website at getsellerscallingyou.com. Thanks for joining in. Y'all have a great day. If you've enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe to it so you never miss another episode. And please like our Get Sellers Calling You Facebook page. Also, if you want to increase sales from past clients and sphere of influence, dominate a geographic farm, or convert home valuation leads, check out our Agent Dominator program. We create custom content that differentiates you from other realtors, then use it to keep you top of mind with your prospects with postcards, targeted Facebook ads, email campaigns, video interviews, and more. And the best part is we guarantee your sales or give all your money back. Learn more at getsellerscallingyou.com and select Agent Dominator in the menu. Thanks for listening to the Get Sellers Calling You podcast. Have a great day.